Hello, everyone. This is Miss Choicey. I do apologize. The previous video was recorded, and I did not realize that we did not have the sound on. But we're going to go ahead and redo this. This time, I'm just going to read you just the quotes. This is going to be chapter 4 through 6 of Queenology. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in to the I Live to Encourage Open Visions Book Club. Again, for those of you who haven't got the book, this is Queenology. R.C. Blakes Jr. Make sure you get it. Okay, so we discussed chapters, I believe last week we did 3, 4, and 5. I'm sorry, no. We did 1, 2, and 3 because we're doing 4, 5, and 6 today. So today we're discussing chapter 4 through 6. The first one is Queens Maximize Their Potential. It says here, a queen is only limited by her perception and ambition. A queen is on a quest for self discovery and doesn't have time to waste on pointless endeavors. Average women will value less important items than their own personal growth. Listen to this Proverbs 31 and 30 that a woman that feareth the Lord shall be praised. A queen's quest is always for self actualization. She has so much potential. The challenge is to find ways to fulfill it. Queens are so engaged in self fulfillment that they are rarely distracted with the concerns of others. Weak women are group thinkers. They run with the pack. A queen is most comfortable standing alone. So, quote, a woman's self actualization demands that she trim away all the superficial elements and go directly to her core, which is her spirit. It says here, you will only discover your best version as you are firmly planted in the service of others. Another quote, a true queen understands that her self manifestation is in serving and giving herself to the things which are selfless. It says, real queens serve. Another quote, a queen is nourished by the high places in life. She is nourished by okay, a queen is not nourished by the high places in life. I'm sorry. She is nourished by the lowest places. It says here, a queen must intentionally place herself in environments that support and nurture her greatness. To self actualize will demand that the queen stay close to people who inspire her development. Many relationships have expiration dates that should not be ignored. A queen is so focused on where she is going, she never gets bogged down in where she is. Quote, when you actually step completely into your potential, it is going to introduce you to a life you didn't know was possible. It takes a whole and healthy woman to attract a whole and healthy man. Women who are consumed with manifesting their potential are identified by husbands easier, happy by themselves, and eventually make great mates for great men. The clearest evidence of a woman who is fully invested in her personal development is that she is happy in her current state. It says here, God has so designed the system so that fulfillment, which leads to happiness, never comes from anything outside of you. The only means of fulfillment is to do the very thing that God placed you here to do. When a woman seeks, finds, and functions in God's purpose for her life, she lives with a true sense of peace and power. It says here, sometimes the best thing a wife and mother may do for herself is to focus on her own well being. When she is fulfilled, she is empowered to minister to them. Women need to see other women who beat the odds. Listen to this. When a woman maximizes her life, she transforms the lives of all women who are looking on. Self actualization always starts with knowing your gifts and using your gifts to satisfy the hunger of your inner passion. A queen may never actualize what she has not clearly defined. A queen with vision avoids relationships that may divorce her from herself. And the last quote for chapter 4, it says, a queen actualizes by never lying to herself about relationships that are not on the same page. And I'm gonna say this. It says, for a queen to actualize, she must expand her circle to mentors, counselors, coaches, and advisors who can add to her base. That's the end of chapter 4. We're going to jump into chapter 5. The topic for chapter 5 says queens eliminate insecurity and negativity. Y'all, I'm running through this for the sake of time. I didn't realize, for those of you who are jumping on now, I didn't realize that I had recorded a whole video with no sound. So, for the sake of time, I have to go through really quick. But like I said before, y'all can purchase this book and read the book in its entirety to get the full benefits of it. Okay, so chapter 5, Queens eliminate insecurity and negativity. It says here, when a king comes to call for a queen, she must be a queen on all levels, mind, body, and spirit. All around the world, governments and the powers that be intentionally promote the things that rob the women of their independence and personal confidence. It says here, the woman's inferiority is not innate. It is introduced through an intentional system that creates a self-contained prison of self-doubt. It says here, you are insecure because you were trained to be. Insecurity is not a built in character trait, it is a conditioned behavior. Somebody taught you to feel insecure. Another quote, insecurity is a mindset which leads to behaving beneath one's potential and makes one subordinate to others. It says here a queen finds solutions while a weak woman finds excuses. It says it is better to reach for the moon and come up short than to reach for the ground and hit it every time. Most women's self definitions are not based on personal revelation. Rather, they simply repeat the opinions of others. It says here many women struggle in their identity because of body shaming. A queen looks in the mirror and falls in love with it. Okay, hold on. A queen looks in the mirror and falls in love with exactly what God has given her. It says here, average women are too focused on other people when how other people see them and find themselves intimidated by the possibility of disapproval. One of the characteristics of a queen is that she manages her mind when it comes to obsessing over things that don't matter. It says here, there are some things that can only be eliminated by the woman herself. When her thinking is draining her power, she must eliminate that thinking. Insecurity will never leave quietly, it must be cast out forcefully. Insecurity likes to live under the darkness of internalization. It says here, I call this process mascara therapy. She's attempting to paint away the painful truth. And it says here, a queen must forgive. Unforgiveness at its base is a form of insecurity. It is the fear of trusting again for the fear of disappointment or injury. Unforgiveness keeps the woman functioning in pettiness. A queen doesn't allow her ears, mind, or heart to become a trash can littered with past offenses and outdated bitterness. A queen disposes of the trash in pursuit of the treasure. As a queen, you can't allow your future to be miniaturized by failing to process negativity expeditiously. You cannot bring garbage into the palace. A queen must never allow her future to be kidnapped by the past. She must delete the things that encumber her vision. It says here, forgiveness is choosing to leave every person that has wronged you in the hands of God and the past, while you move on positively, confidently, and peacefully and securely and successfully, into the future. Forgiveness is the process whereby the soul eliminates emotional and spiritual free radicals, and it prevents the malignancy of bitterness from consuming the consciousness. It says here, the inability to forgive allows those who hurt you to travel into your future to extract even greater and perpetual pain. It says here, when we don't forgive, we allow evil access. And the last one of chapter 5, it says, a queen washes her brain. A queen has to unlearn the lies. A queen must maintain a high level of thought about herself, others, and the world she lives in. A queen possesses an infectious possibility. And chapter 6, the topic is queens possess presence. So it says a queen owns the space she's in. To have presence is to own the space you're in. When women understand the power and value of presence, they will begin to attract everything to themselves that they desire and deserve. When you have presence, you never need to fight for recognition. A queen is more concerned about her core than she is about her color or her cut. It says here, presence is the connection between who you are, what the world sees of you, and what you consistently deliver. It says a queen always rises above the standard and resets the bar. A queen has presence. Your presence is how you're perceived without saying a word. It says here a woman should have the right to do whatever she desires and is capable of doing well, but she should clearly be a woman. So it's the next one is talking about the power of silence. Hold on. The power of presence. I'm sorry. So it says here a queen's presence makes its arrival before she appears and remains after she exits. The next one teaches us about the components of a queen's presence. It says a queen's presence starts with her self assurance. Insecurity is a beast that eats away at the core of greatness. It erodes the confidence necessary to rule. Insecurity is a beast that eats away at the core of greatness. It erodes the confidence necessary to rule. A queen always controls her thoughts and meditations to maintain her confidence. She must be assured of who she is. A queen is a god original. A queen must be assured of her territory. A true queen understands that her crown and thorns. Hold on. A true queen understands that her crown and throne are tailor made and engraved. Nobody else can occupy her territory. She must be assured of her competence. Competence carries a distant presence. Average men are always intimidated by the mere presence of a queen. The second one here says a queen's presence is married to her attitude. It says nothing makes a more brilliant impression than a powerful woman walking into a room without pretension or insecurity, but with a balanced and warm spirit. It says here, a queen knows how to be polite and yet establish boundaries. A woman who knows what to say, when to say it, and how to say it will be unforgettable and indispensable. The most radiant aspect of a woman is her attitude. A queen succeeds in life and business because she maintains humility, which is the posture of honor. So the third one that it discusses here, it says a queen uses her attire to project her presence. A queen's dress code is the preview of her presence. A queen dresses with the intention of making a statement. She never dresses to garner rather random attention, but to project power. A queen uses her attire to announce her presence visually. A queen dresses like she belongs to a king. And the fourth one that they're discussing here, a queen has the audacity to take ownership of any environment. A queen has an uncommon boldness laced with grace and femininity. A queen is a queen, even if she's broken. And it says here, the world is not always ready for a queen who has the audacity to rule. Don't be alarmed. And it says here, and this is the last quote for chapter 6. Queens do not have a multitude of men calling on them because most men do not view themselves as measuring up. Her presence silenced men. It takes a true king to call on a queen. And that's pretty much sums up because it's a quick summary. And I do apologize because some of them had topics in between the quotes. I probably didn't break all that down. I kind of ran through it today, and I do apologize. Like I said, I previously recorded with no sound. I mean, it was like 45 minutes. So y'all can only imagine. But like I said, please go get this book and read it for yourself so you can get all the information. But I thank everyone for tuning in, and I hope that you're able to join us on next Tuesday. I promise that I will eat before I record, and that way we won't have any mix-ups. But like I always say, don't let no one steal your joy because the world did not give it to you and the world cannot take it away. This has been Miss Choicey. Please like, share, and subscribe, and make sure you hit that notification bell so you'll be the first one to be informed. I love y'all. Have a blessed week.